Pink Posh to review the Clarity Stencil brushes, something I'd been seeing a lot over the web and wanted to play around a little with and experiment with. First thing I noticed was just how big they are. I'd been looking at the price for a while and kind of felt like they were pretty expensive for just 4 brushes, but I pulled them out and was surprised with how big they are. I'm using white 120-pound cardstock from Simon Says Stamp. I really like just how smooth it is and works really good for ink blending. And the Pretty Pink Posh Foxy Friends stamp set and coordinating dies. I've used the dies to cut out a white masking paper so I can stencil around it on my cardstock, and then I can stamp the fox in the middle and have a 1-layer panel with the stenciling around it. I pulled out my ink swatches so I could pick a couple colors that I wanted to use. For this first one, I ended up using apricot, catkin, and a soft yellow one now. I can't remember. I'll see it on there here in just a second. So I'm pulling out the second to the largest Clarity Stencil brush and using it to just blend across the bottom, and you can see how smooth it works, and I really like how it lays the color down and how easily and how smoothly. Not as much work as using a foam blender, if you've ever tried to do that. And one way I found that I found a way later I like to clean them better, but the first way I tried was a baby wipe just to clean it off until it showed clean, and then I used my hand a little just to dry off the moisture from that. But it felt like on this one the ink didn't lay down quite as smooth, and I think there was a little leftover moisture on there. Later on I used a microfiber cloth to clean it, and I felt like I was happier with that. But they did clean up really well, and I didn't notice any mixing of the color in between, which I like. Duckling, that's the color of the yellow one. Sorry about that. So that's the next color I'm coming in with here across the top. I'm blending across at some spots there. I blended just out from the fox to get a little deeper color right around him. But it just keeps getting darker the more you go across, and easy to keep it softer, darker. Peeling off the mask, see how nice that little clear spot is, and I pulled out my mini Misty and used that to stamp the fox in the middle, helped line it up perfectly, and then I could stamp it 2 times to get a nice dark, crisp impression. I'm using Simon Says Stamp Intense Black ink. I love it. It works really good with Copics, and I'm going to color these in a little bit after the video when I finish up my cards. But stamping it 2 times gets it nice and dark and crisp, and you can see that it's just 1 layer, but almost looks like a separate die cut piece on top. Alright, second technique. This time I'm using also cutting out a mask with the coordinating dies, this time for a different little fox, and putting that on my cardstock panel. And this time I'm taping a stencil over the top. The stencil is from Winnie and Walter, and a little masking tape to hold it in place across the top, and another tiny little bit on the bottom just to keep it from wiggling around as I do it. And I've picked 3 colors: Hollyhock, Sunshine, and Scuba. Again, all Simon Says Stamp inks, and instead of cleaning my brushes in between, I just pulled 3 brushes out in a row this time and used them for each color so I could just go up and not have to clean them in between and move through the colors a little bit quicker. They still clean up very well, and I did that at the end with that microfiber cloth. Look how the colors blend together in the middle there. The pink and blue kind of makes a purple transition point, and then adding the yellow at the top. Again, the more you go over, the darker it gets. The less you go over, the lighter it is. I love that effect on there. There's that microfiber cloth, just plain old white one, and I just use it to clean it off. It'll probably stain. I haven't tried to wash it yet, so I'll have to wait and see how that turns out when it finishes, but a little bleach might do wonders. And peel the stencil off. I love that magic moment. And then the little masking spot over the fox, and then again using the mini Misty to stamp that image right in the center where it's supposed to be. Same ink, and I will also stamp it twice on this one, just like the last one. And there's number 2. Alright, number 3, I cut a mask out, this time out of plain cardstock. I used the scallop oval dies, the larger size. The first time I tried this, I tried to do it all masking paper, and it worked great till I peeled it off, and it peeled a lot of my cardstock off. So I decided not to do that this time, and the plain white cardstock worked really well to kind of make a stencil. And then also with the white cardstock, I just laid in that scallop piece and taped it in place to hold it where I wanted it. And then I've picked two colors there, Jelly Bean and Spring Rain of the Simon Says ink, and I'm adding my mask piece of the fox on there again on this one, placing him where I want him there. And I realized pretty quickly as I started to do this, I forgot to tape down my card panel in the back, so I run my stencil over, and then you'll notice it moves a little there, and I grab my masking tape real quick and go in and tape that piece back behind down a little. I kind of forgot that step as I did it, but it turned out okay, so it was alright. So come in again with the green, and then adding the blue in the top. Kind of went with green and blue, so sky and grass, and kind of made it nice and darker on the edges on this one, and then I added a little more with the green, kind of stippling the brush a little as I did it, so it gave a little more of a rough grass feel on that one too. And peel off the mask, and peel off the little fox mask. And then one last time, I'm using my Mini Misty. So incredibly handy. I can't even say how much I use that. Had that little fox with that same. Once I was done with all these, I trimmed the panels up a little. I added my sentiments. I ran a row of machine stitching around the outside, and then some die cut pieces around each one to frame them, and added some colored cardstock. Thanks so much for stopping by and watching today. Have a great day.